So now that we've reviewed these three forms, let's see if we can remember how to do this. So if I need this to look like this, I have one thing to do, and it's there. Do you know what it is? That pesky 2 belongs where? Right in front of the y, right? Because isn't it x plus y? So how do I get it there? I just subtract 2x from both sides, don't I? If there's something on one side of the equal sign and you want it gone, then do the inverse operation and get it gone. So if I were to subtract 2x here, it's gone. So what does that leave me with? It leaves me with negative 2x plus y equals negative 5. And you just did that. Going from, I will tell you, going from slope-intercept to standard is going to be the easiest transition. If it's in slope-intercept, it is right there, right? Okay. Point slope is a little trickier, but I'm going to ask you to dig deep. What two things do you need for point slope? You need the point and you need the slope. I got one of them. What's the slope? Be careful. It's not this. It's what? 2. So the slope is 2. Where can I get my hands on a point? You have a couple options here. There's the obvious standard option, and then there's the overachiever option, which I had one kid using, and it was like, I don't make my answer key for overachievers. I make it for the obvious one. You'll see what I mean. Like, looking at this, what is the point? What point are you sure of? There's only one point that you are sure of right now, Audrey. What is it? It's 0, negative 5, right? If you were to plot, I know here's what you need to not do. I had too many people doing this last hour. Once they got it into standard form, they didn't go back and look at slope-intercept form, and they were like, what's the slope? Get it in standard form and don't look at it again, because it's not going to tell you much. Get it in standard form and then go back and look at slope-intercept form and see how this can help you now get to this one. Do you see what I mean? So this is the only point I know, and that is my y-intercept, and that point is 0, negative 5. Do you know now why I was so adamant about you writing those points instead of just leaving it as, y equals 5? Okay? I got my point. I got my slope. I'm good to go. Y plus 5 equals 2 times x minus 0. Let's do this. Let's keep it simple and just go ahead and keep that minus 0 there if you want. Okay? If you really feel the need to distribute that and make it y plus 5 equals 2x, go right ahead. But I will tell you that I had somebody doing that last hour, and they were not seeing point slope form, and they were thinking of it as y plus 5 equals 2x, and they were thinking that it was standard form. Then they started, just leave it unless it really bothers you. So how is that? Not bad? Okay? Having slope-intercept form is the easiest. Let's move on to standard form. Okay? Where do you even start? What would you do? Get those wheels turning. Maybe. Yep. So what she's thinking is what I was thinking. Get it in slope-intercept form, because once it's there, it's pretty useful, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So to do that, she even walked me through it. She said, why don't you just subtract 3x from both sides? Good idea. That's going to leave me with negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Almost there. That leaves me with a slope of what? Good. Positive 3/4. And a y-intercept of negative 3. Y equals positive 3/4 x, y-intercept negative 3. Once I have slope-intercept, point slope is a piece of cake. We didn't talk about the overachievers yet. I'm going to ask you in a minute how you can find another point for your point slope if it's not the y-intercept? I'll say that again. Where else can you get a point from if it's not the y-intercept? Okay. No, a point, not the slope. Because we already know the slope. The slope is 3/4. What if I'm sick of using 0, -3, 0, -5, 0, negative whatever? Where else can I get another point? You can get 2 more points. Say it again. That wouldn't be a point. But what's the x-intercept? I was really hoping one of you was going to say it. What's your x-intercept? 4. So if your x-intercept is 4, would 4, 0 work? Yeah? Okay. What's your y-intercept? We already know it's -3. So if you don't want to use the y-intercept, which why wouldn't you, then be an overachiever and find the x-intercept instead and use that point if you so feel like it. Right? So watch. I'm going to use 0, -3 because it's staring me in the face. And so now I'm going to write y plus 3 equals 3/4 times 0 minus, or x minus 0, and I'm done with that one, right? Just to kind of show you something and prove something to you, what would happen if you distributed that? You know what you'd get? You'd get y plus 3 equals 3/4 x. And what if I decided to solve it for y? What would I have? That, right? Do you see how it came full circle? So once you put it in point slope form, if you really want to make sure it's right, distribute and see if it is. Okay? So y equals 3/4 x minus 3. Hey, just want you to know that if I would have used the point 4, 0 instead, that answer would be another answer that I would have to add to my answer key. But if you distributed it, it would still give you that. Okay? Last one. Woo! There we go. Try that one. You do that one. What would you do to get that into the other 2 forms? Try it. What'd you do first? Y minus 2 equals 3x plus 3. Super close to having y by itself. Add 2. Y is equal to 3x plus 5. All right, home free. Y is equal to 3x plus 5. I got it in standard or in slope-intercept form. Standard form is right there. All I have to do is what? Subtract 3x from both sides. That gives you negative 3x plus y equals 5. Got it? Okay. So here's what your assignment's going to look like. And I looked at my lesson plan books and I was like, why did I build in 2 days for this? I'm giving you 2 full days review. The quiz for this is not going to be until Tuesday. Okay, today's Thursday. So then I looked at the homework assignment that I was about to give you and I was like, oh, that's why I built in 2 days. Because this is not a one-dayer, okay? So just so you know how to read this, it's going to say, I'm going to give you a bunch of equations, and instead of giving them to you like this, which probably would have been nice, I said, hey, here's a bunch of equations in point-slope form. Make sure you put them in slope-intercept and standard. Then you're going to flip it over, and it's going to say, now here's a bunch of equations in slope-intercept form. Make sure you put them in these 2. Do you see what I mean? And then the last section, they're in standard. So there's 3 sections. because there's 3 different equations. Okay, then there's the review, but I'm not going to overload you. So here's what we're doing for today. On the front section, there's 8 given in point slope form. You are only going to do the first 4. Okay? On this section, there's only 6. You're only going to do the first 3. And on this, there's 8. You're only going to do the first 4. You're not going to do any of the review. I don't want you worrying about that right now. I want you focusing on this. So then tomorrow when you come in, we're going to check the 4, 3, 4. And what do you think you're going to do after that? The rest of the packet. Okay? Because I don't want you to do all these if you're doing them wrong anyway. So I want to make sure you have the first half correct. I also copied a blank one of these. There were some people who really wanted to use that.